But our Prime Minister is going to attend next week's NATO meeting in Madrid, where he'll meet both President Biden and Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Given that he said in December about the Assange case, enough is enough, and that Assange had already paid, he said, a big price, and has subsequently reiterate that position, what should our Prime Minister be saying to President Biden?
Well, first of all, the Prime Minister is entirely correct in saying this is a matter for, he implies, behind-the-scenes diplomacy, not megaphone diplomacy. He's absolutely correct. Yep. America is a valued partner and ally of Australia's. They don't deserve to have this thing, any potential difference between us, trawled through the media. But in the context of an international summit, our Prime Minister is perfectly entitled in a sidelines conversation with President Biden to say, Mr. President, as you agree, we are terrific allies, and I, in my short time as PM, have given a priority to the things that concern us, the Quad, for example, the meeting of the Quad, which I attended within hours of becoming Prime Minister. There is one thing that's of importance to us, and that is you dropping the extradition proceedings against an Australian citizen. Now, if there's a bit of pushback from the US President saying that it's terribly difficult, that America's got other interests, then I think it's an opportunity for our Prime Minister just to push a bit more firmly, making it very clear that he speaks for the Australian people. The Australian people see Assange, whatever his shortcomings, whatever criticisms one would make, as being an Australian, a holder of an Australian passport, and entitled to the advocacy of the Australian government.
Just clarifying for our viewers the point that the former Foreign Minister Bob Carr made then about being a very good ally of the United States. We actually dispatched a warship to the Gulf when we were asked by America. We went into Afghanistan when we were asked by America. We've sent trainers and planes into Iraq and Syria, asked by America. We host 2 communications bases in Australia. So come again to you, former Foreign Minister, aren't we entitled to a modest request that in the spirit with which Barack Obama pardoned Chelsea Manning, drop the extradition orders against Julian Assange?
Precisely put. Precisely put. This is small change in the context of an alliance in which we're paying $150 billion for American subs, in which we host communications facilities that, by any test, make Australia a nuclear target. Tony Abbott, within hours of being asked, made a commitment that Australia would send trainers, fighter planes, and other military personnel into the most difficult area involving the final battle against ISIS in Iraq and Syria. I said at the time in an interview that I thought that was a reasonable alliance request, providing we weren't committing to some open-ended war on terrorism, but providing a humanitarian intervention along with the Americans and the Kurdish forces to rescue an endangered population. So that's the kind of ally we are in the context of all this geostrategic heft. We're entitled to say to the US President, there's one minor thing, it's not a big issue in your politics, it gets little attention. The Trump administration started this extradition. Obama would not have done it because he is very conscious of the argument about freedom of the media. If you allow this to proceed against Assange, you're creating a precedent that would have the New York Times or the Washington Post prosecuted for printing material that a whistleblower gives them about American wars and about the atrocities that might attend on those wars. Assange is in trouble because he used material given him by an American who, as we've said, has been pardoned, to print details of American war crimes in Iraq. Now, that should not be a hanging offence, and Australia should make that very clear, and America would listen to us if we made it clear.